All right, welcome back to the last classroom session of today. We will, after this session, take a very short break while we move our equipment down to the studio to give you the studio tour. So if you're online watching, you might have to click play again when the next post comes up. So it'll be within the same live stream event, but a new video post will show up on this page. So you just have to click play on that to watch the studio tour. This session, I'm going to do on virtual reality. And I like this quote here on the screen, sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, from Arthur C. Clarke. Today, I think you'll see a little bit of stuff that's kind of magic, and a lot of it's really amazing the way things are heading, and I think you'll be impressed. And I guess it's up to us to see how you shift this and turn it into educational medical uses, and there are some stuff out there, so I'll kind of stay tuned here and I'll let you know about that. We're kind of wrapping up our third TechShare Day. This is one of the logos I considered, Rise of the Machines, and since I downloaded the Terminator font, I went ahead and kept it here for the presentation here. So what we're going to do here is virtual reality, and on the screen here is a headset for an Oculus Rift. It's one of the more well-known ones, one of the ones under development right now. So we'll catch up with it again later. So when you hear the term VR, it's thrown around a lot for a lot of different reasons, and it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It just depends on who you're talking to. I have virtual environments, VE, versus assisted augmented reality versus 360-degree video. So I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for it and a lot of acronyms that pop up, and so we'll just kind of go through them kind of one at a time. We'll start with the 360-degree video. And 360-degree video is that. It's a video. YouTube on the Chrome browser is one of the kind of neat places you can do this, where you can actually, while the video is playing, you're looking around the video, you can look up and down and around and see what's going on, and because it depends on who's made the video, there might be different things happening at the same time in different places, and you have to kind of turn around and look at it. It's shot with a specialized camera system, usually lots of cameras pointing in lots of different directions, and with all those cameras, it uses a specialized software that takes all that together, and sometimes, it can be 3D or not 3D, but it's a sphere of video that's playing all around, and you have to play it in the right player and with the right software. But in the end, it's a video. It starts at 0 seconds and it goes to the end, and it plays in a straight line. And you're looking around, and if you're looking over 90 degrees south and something's happening over 270 here, you don't see it, you miss it. So it's hard to, unless you were watch it several times and look in different directions, it's hard for storytelling or education with uses, I would think, because you have to have the person directed at the right place at the right time. So that's one of the downsides of it. And Kelly Homa showed this same picture, I guess, in his presentation earlier. This is the Google Jump Rig. 16 GoPro cameras all around, and it shoots a photosphere and also shoots in 3D, to where you have two different cameras recording the same thing from just a slightly different angle, to mimic like your binocular vision from your eyes to make the 3D show up. And I'm sure GoPro loves this, since they're selling 16 cameras a whack. The actual GoPro rig itself, the GoPro has a 6-camera rig that they are pushing for theirs too, and it's not as high def, and it doesn't do the 3D, but it shoots in all sorts of angles, and it captures a whole thing here. And I'm gonna real quick show you a video here from GoPro, and it's shot here with that rig, so I'm going to control this. So I'm pulling up here, and I'm looking at the guy. He's actually holding a stick with it's hard to see with the GoPro thing on it. And I can scroll around different places and look what's going on. But if I don't know to look, sorry, the Wi-Fi is running a little bit slow here. But if I don't know where to look, I might miss that there's dolphins swimming underneath the water here. It's buffering here a little bit. There we go. So it's a straight line video. It's playing from 0 to the end of the video, but you have to be looking in the right place at the right time to see the dolphin come up and surface there next to you. And so yeah, with my cursor there, I was controlling where the focus of the camera was on that. And it's pretty bandwidth intensive, I'll tell you that now. Sometimes it's, actually now the laptop is thinking about things, I guess.
Can you play that on your television?
That question was, can you play it on your television? I would think that there'd be places that you could. You just have to, this is heavily reliant on the Google Chrome browser. I tried it on Internet Explorer and Firefox, and it showed the whole video, but it didn't give you the 3D effect. It showed it was just a wide video, and all three things were going around there. All right, so now let's see if I can get my computer unlocked. All right. Well, I could go to Plan B here real quick. Oh, we're back. Sorry. All right, so now we're back here at my presentation. And yeah, and the company GoPro has been partnering now with lots of different people to kind of push the VR and the 360-degree video, and frankly, they bought a VR company named Kolor, K-O-L-O-R, and they love this because their stock price is going way up, and they're selling a lot of cameras by people doing this. So instead of having one camera, you have to have 6 cameras to use their rig. All right, next, past the 360-degree video, we're talking about augmented reality. And when you have augmented reality, you are seeing the real world, but you're having layers of data or something on top of it. And it allows you to do more or see more layers on top of real life. Now, one thing you can maybe get your head on would be like a heads-up display, like a fighter pilot would have. It lots of data laid over the thing. It doesn't really obstruct your vision. You're just adding to what's there already. And something like this, or if you were walking down a city street, you could get information where it uses your location information and GPS, and you can figure out what's nearby. You want to find the bus stop. You want to know where the subway is. There's all kinds of data that it can give to you here, tell me what that building is and that sort of thing. So it's overlaying data on top of what you're looking at usually through either like a Google Glass type of a thing or through a smartphone or a tablet. Manufacturers are getting into this. IKEA has there's a couple different apps where you can take and look at furniture. You can take your camera in your living room and hold it up and put a couch on the screen and see what this color couch will look like in your living room, or tables, bedroom sets, and then it handily gives you a link where you can click on it, find the price, and buy it too. So this is kind of one way to get a look at what your furniture stuff before you were to buy it. There's games that work with this as well. Ingress is the most popular one, and the players leave clues and they leave puzzles and they leave treasures that you can find. And if you don't have the app running, or if you don't have the augmented stuff going on, you wouldn't know anything's even there. But then somebody who has the game up and looks at the right thing, and it gives information and gives prizes and puzzles, and it's kind of, there's a big community kind of built around this. And we were talking just a moment ago about somebody here locally, about somebody going to Paris. And kind of one of the cool things you can do is augmented reality is translate. Google, the one I use the most is Google Translate. Let me fire this up. And if you guys know French, don't say it out loud. All right, so I'm gonna switch to my iPad here. I've got Google Translate. And I'm going French to English here, so I'll just show this. And it tells me that it's attention, but basically beware of dog, and the cat's not reliable either. So yeah, I was just using, it's just the camera on the iPad it's seeing those letters and it's translating it on its own. And there's lots of different languages, Russian, Chinese, some of the stuff, it'll instantly do that when you're showing it on the screen. Some stuff you have to scan it and it'll kind of go through and think about it, and then it'll bring you back a result. And it's sort of reliable. I mean, you know, there's going to be differences in languages and what words mean, and attention to the dog might not mean beware of dog in somebody's mind. So it's just, you have to kind of watch out for that sort of a thing. And also with like Google Glass, there's ways to do that too. We're talking about augmented reality, where you can look at something, look at a landmark, and it might give you more. It might recognize that landmark and say, oh, you're Yellowstone, and here's some information. So there's different ways that some of these work like that. All right, and I was talking earlier about, you know, some of the possibilities for education and for medical uses. And this little overlay here is something I found, and it correlates with, to switch back to my iPad here, it correlates with an app. And let me get out of this. I can open up 4D Anatomy. And so we're going to do some augmented reality here once my thing comes up. So I've got a textbook here. It's a human physiology textbook, a real solid book in real life. But within that, it shows you kind of a live thing there. I can do different things with it. I can stop the cardiac cycle, which would stop some of the noise. So I can just move around though and look at things, and I can, you know, hide different pieces or show different pieces. Let's turn off the aorta and turn off the blood flow so that it kind of shows more where the aorta was there. So it's really, there's different ones that have of this. They're also kind of incorporating some of this into advertising as well, to where you can, if you have the right ad and the right app for the right ad, you can look at things. So this is kind of one of those hey wow type of a things.
Would that actually image go with that book, or you just?
Actually, it's a piece of paper that I printed out and just stuck in the book, but it could.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a book,
Sell you the book?
yeah, a publisher that would sell you the book and say, and then here's a free app to go with it, and then, you know, some of the interesting things you can do with it. So this is, to me, like one of the big wows. Yeah. And I think the information that's on this particular thing is more aimed at maybe grade school health, but I mean, you could make it more detailed and more applicable to a medical student or a allied health student. All right, so let's switch back here. So yeah, it's just an image. I could do it off this laptop as well. It doesn't have to be that particular piece of paper. I printed that out on an inkjet printer. And I think there's little dots on here. I think the dots are the targets, and it helps it figure out where you are in 3D space. So that's really kind of a cool thing for augmented reality. And then the last part I was going to talk about is virtual reality, which to me, virtual reality is virtual environment. You're not actually looking at the real world. You're in a completely separate world, and you can move about and look up and down and around in it. And you can think about, some of the space training stuff and in a flight simulators where they're surrounded in something. This is physically they're surrounded, but virtual reality could also be, in software surrounded by something. And the Oculus Rift is kind of the big one right now. I mean, the Microsoft has the HoloLens, and there's Google Cardboard. We'll kind of talk a little bit about that later, but there's a lot of things going on now to where you're putting the screen up to your head and you're watching things go on, and it has gyroscopes, or you have hand controls, and you can kind of maneuver your way through a virtual environment. And sometimes you have to kind of make sure that you have to watch out what you're doing because other people are watching you. You look kind of odd doing this, so you have to kind of be careful where you're around. But and how it works is you have two screens, and if you see here on the thing, there's the left and the right eye, and the video that comes to it is separated. There's actually two different sets of video coming to one for each eye. And that video, when it's produced by something like that Google Jump rig I was talking about, you have binocular vision to where you're seeing something in 3D. And I brought in my kid's old Viewmaster here, kind of the same concept, to where you have the two different eyes and you have the two different images, and you're getting 3D put to your head by the Viewmaster. So that's kind of the same type of a concept, except instead of just being a static picture, you're able to turn and look over here and maneuver, and a lot of this is being driven by the gaming industry, where you can run forward and grab a gun and do unspeakable things to people. And here's an example of like what it would look like. I mean, you have a left and a right vision here, and if you look at the nose on the jet there is a little bit further ahead on the right side than it is on the left side. So they're just a little bit different to give you that binocular vision. And this is kind of a cool little thing. Google wanted to make this more open and accessible to people, and so they have an open source product that they kind of basically they invented it called Google Cardboard. And with the Google Cardboard, you have the two little lenses, but then you use an ordinary smartphone, and you put the smartphone in front of the lenses. And actually, we managed to get Brian to get some of these. So we've got these little Google Cardboards. You can put a phone in there, and you turn it on. You go into the right app, and you have a little button you'd push, and then as you moved, it would move the image inside. We do have a couple here on this campus that you look at after the thing, and we'll probably some in Mesa here shortly. But if you want to, they're pretty cheap. You can go online. We got ours on Amazon.com. I think it was $20. It was the version 2 that we have. There's a version 1 and a version 2, and we got the version 2, which has a different button system on it. Cheap, fun to play with. It'll amaze the kids. It amazes me. I guess I'm a kid at heart, but it's kind of a lot of fun to play with and to get the 3D. And some of the 3D effects are kind of queasy. It can be something that make your stomach jump when you're going on a roller coaster ride in 3D and looking around, and it's not your motion of your body's not following the motion that you're seeing in your eyes, so it can cause some disorientation.
So does it only work with a smartphone? Or
It works with most smartphones. We've done it with both iOS phones and Android phones. It's supposed to work. There's apps for iPads too, but you would have to build something on your own. The Google Cardboard wouldn't hold the thing, and like a big enough, like a Galaxy Note or something like that, wouldn't fit inside of this. But a normal size smartphone, and we've gone from Barb's antique iPhone 4, to brand new iPhones and Galaxies, and so the faster your phone works and the better your connection is to the cell network or Wi-Fi, the better experience it will be. But it's kind of a neat thing, and I think as time goes forward, we'll see more applications for virtual reality that would fall into education and thinking about how you would, maybe a Fantastic Voyage type thing for where you go inside the body and be able to maneuver around and so it's really neat, and it's kind of something that's out there. It's kind of like on the horizon, so we'll have to kind of watch it and see how it does develop. Now, if there's any questions, I'd be glad to take them. If not, what we'll probably do is shut down the stream here for a moment while we drag all of our equipment to the studio, and we're going to play with our brand new green screen there. We'll do some green screen keying. Kind of talk about some of the capabilities we have for video production and audio production on the Missouri campus and our plans for the Arizona campus. The Arizona campus can do a lot of the same things, but they just don't have the physical space. We've been asking that for a long time, and people from the Arizona campus know that space there is at a premium and hard to get. So it's something we're working on. So if you want to join us back here on the live stream, in probably 10, 15 minutes, and we'll go as fast as we can to get set back up, and it'll be on the same live stream event. You'll just have to click in and hit play again. And again, if you're watching online or in the classrooms, sign up on the sign-up sheets or text in the text box online to let us know that you were here, and we'll put you in the drawing for that Fitbit. Appreciate everybody's attendance today, and these recordings will be up on YouTube when we get them put together, but it'll be also available on live stream almost immediately after we click off here to the archived versions if you missed anything. So appreciate it. Thanks everybody. We'll see you here in about 15 minutes, but we'll be down in the studio.